Hey everybody, clearing. All right, so this is going to be a Divine Feminine check-in. We're going to look at where the DFs are at on the journey right now, advice for the DFs or noteworthy things that we'll see, and friendly emotions. So the emotions that are bringing in certain changes. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through for the collective that joins me here. What are the DFs experiencing on the journey? What is the advice or information that the DFs could benefit from focusing on? And what are the emotions that are our friends right now helping along the way? You know, we are emotional beings, and our emotions are our instrumentation in this dimension. We are made of duality here. We navigate through free will using our emotions to steer us away from suffering and towards freedom. So let's have a look at where the feminines are at on this whole thing. So masculines, this reading can be for you. You can be seeing how your feminine, oh my gosh, my snake den cable issue down there is between my toes. All right, so feminines, what are they seeing? Masculines, yes, you can see what's going on with your feminine through this reading. So feminine's awareness of the connection right now. Okay, missed opportunities, but also here's the feminines hand in hand. I'm getting that the feminines are offering the masculines an opportunity right now. So the masculines have their arms crossed there, and you know, it's not your feminine's ego offering you right now. This is the hand of God, but that the feminines are privy to this shows that they may be the conduit for it towards you. You know, your divine feminine is God's gift to you. They are designed, made in your image, so to speak, in your compatibility. Your feminine is your perfect match. And so it's not too good to be true. But just as the feminines say yay or nay to you, masculines, you have the prerogative to say yay or nay depending on where your temperature is at and how developed you are on this journey. So yeah, feminines, it looks like the masculines are in the vicinity of this offer, of this alignment between you and the divine being presented to them, but they're kind of like, I'm not so sure yet. What is the energetic? Divinity, honor, responsibility, and humility. Temple of perfected essence. Exactly. So the masculines are on the verge of feeling like things have reached a threshold by which they can accept this opportunity presented to them. But this does bring in divinity, honor, and responsibility. It is still the masculine's responsibility to protect these connections and to not prematurely give in to them before it's time. Okay, so feminines, what do you need to know? Lord of the Winds and Breezes, Knight of Swords. This is communication. So for some, if you have not been in communication, you may be guided to communicate. There may be some kind of relevance in striking up communication with your masculine, because it's kind of like a green light to, I heard collaborate, take that as it resonates. But if you fight the obedience of your heart and your knowing and you actively resist, that's akin to sinning. So if you know you're being guided to reach out and out of ego, you've gone the other way and now you're not receptive, now you're not following your guidance, that's like not being in your righteousness. That's not following your own knowing. So it does look like there are some, I'm hearing bold moves, that some of the feminines in this collective will be taking that might not feel like a big deal, but they will actually be considered by your masculine, and it helps your masculine find out where they're at and how ready they are for the connection at this particular stage. And then the emotion we have here is love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. So in this case, it can even mean seeing the good in or the value in when the feminine initiates conversation or communication, that sometimes it's by the hand of the divine, and there are no set rules. This is why this is a journey of mastery, is because we have to discern when it's appropriate for us, either one, to message or connect or initiate communication in general or on certain topics. If it's truly divinely guided, it will be done so with a humble responsibility and honor and in alignment with divinity. It will not be hurtful, boastful, imbalanced, all the things love is, it won't contain those things. So this is really beautiful, because when we're instructing the feminines in communication, you can measure whether or not it's appropriate to reach out. You could actually look at 1 Corinthians 13, and you could see love is patient, love is kind, it keeps no record of wrongs, it is not boastful, all of those things. If your message truly is in alignment with the things that love is, go for it. You're not meant to not communicate or reach out or interact with your masculine, but you are meant to reciprocate in the right frequency. So it's not about withholding out of ego or pretense or strategy. It is truly feminines doing it with love. And then anything is permissible, because it's all beneficial if it's truly in alignment with love. What a message. Okay, so that does show that some feminines will be initiating cycles of communication with their masculine in some way here, and that it will be divinely guided. I'm hearing that that is activating the inner masculine for the feminines. What can we see for how the DFs are seeing their masculine right now? King of Swords, as withholding, as not telling them something. So masculines, your feminine sees you as intentionally taking a step back. That may be something you've said to them, but it may also be something that you're giving off in the energy. What is the energetic card? The Great Elation, reconfiguration, cycles, and gratitude. So feminines, it looks like the masculines, that you may know that your masculine has taken a step back to get a clearer picture so that they can rebalance and be grateful again. Sometimes when we lose ourselves or take something for granted, it doesn't go, we aren't as grateful or aware of, we take it for granted, I guess. So right now it looks like the feminines are giving intentional space, masculines, knowing that you need this time to come back into alignment, into gratitude for who they are and what they are in your life. Because, they've been offering you nothing but purity and divine love. And if you have been, for whatever reason, wounded, closed off to that, there's no judgment. It's just they're aware of it. So they're intentionally giving you space to come back into the priorities about what really matters, and about seeing this connection as a blessing, not as anything that would inconvenience or pressure you. These connections are truly divinely guided and love-filled. What do the feminines need to know? Justice, daughter of the Lord of Truth. So yes, Lady Justice here, feminine justice. I'm getting that this communication that you may have, feminines, I just heard business as usual. So there may have been some wobble in the energy where masculines possibly even misrepresented themselves, acted out, were cutting, said something they didn't mean, were misleading. Something wasn't genuine. Feminines have identified here, masculines, that you weren't in your genuine authenticity. And so they may have seen you wearing a mask, and whatever they have said or are doing, or if they do reach out, your feminine will be representing the truth. The yin yang is disconnected here. And so the feminine is recognizing the independence of each, but at the same time seeing how it all works together, and is grateful for it all. And that's why they can come through with grace and communicate even in the face of adversity, business as usual. So it's not that they don't care about your feelings, but they don't also want to set up a codependency where if you have misrepresented or omitted something or spoken with a falsehood of some sort, your feminine is not going to pander to that timeline where that karmic manifestation would happen. And so they're going to keep it separate, and they're going to stay consistent in this seat of love, is what I'm hearing. Emotion associated happiness in the inverse. So the feminines are taking responsibility for their own happiness. I'm aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. So the feminines don't want to have anything that they have observed with you. Remember, this isn't just fiction. This is a masculine energy not being in alignment in the position of this card reading that's talking directly about you, masculines. And so something they've seen has caused them to take care of their own happiness and love you unconditionally, possibly at a distance. What can we see, but also bridging the gap as they would because they love you? So what would we see here for how the feminines are viewing the connection? Going through a transformation. The Death card in the inverse. Major Arcana is not a light energy, not a casual. It is filled with light, but not a casual energy. And so there is a major reconfiguration like we saw with the Great Elation so that things can raise up higher. And we're getting Temple of Elevated Senses, exactly. Impeccability, advancement, and loftiness. So this is going into a level of excellence. So feminines are seeing on the heart space, feeling on the heart space, intuitively knowing that things are lightening, rising, getting better in the connection, and them being able to stay balanced and have the voice of truth in the matter, to stay in their center and to not collaborate a codependent thing. This is helping to transmute past behaviors, imprints, karmic implants, energetic implants, paradigms, all of those things that have no business in true love. So yeah, beautiful stuff. Advice for feminines. 9 of Pentacles, Lord of Material Gain in the inverse. So feminines, this is an internal victory, an internal abundance. It's a generous energy. When you don't make your masculines' struggles about you, when you don't take it personally and then run with it and ricochet, when you hold your own, you're tapping into unlimited resource within. Beautiful interpretation of that 9 of Pentacles. For readers out there, I don't read in a casual setting here how the tarot would be read for other uses. I use this strictly for aligned relationships. And when it's in the inverted, I typically take it first person for the one that the cards are being pulled for instead of a reverse meaning. But yeah, I have never had that interpretation, that internal abundance before. That's so beautiful. And the energy, surrender. I can release my need to control. So feminines, you're in non-attachment. You have let go of ego, let go of agenda, let go of control. And you are now, I just heard super conscious, superconductors. This is a new norm coming in where we don't put things on each other and we truly do hold this equanimity, I'm hearing. What can we see on the heart space? The feminines viewing their masculine. 5 of Swords. I just heard picking our battles. So the 5 of Swords can be taking shortcuts, low blows, cheap shots, easy way out, sneaky shady stuff, not playing fair. These feminines are understanding how karma's a bitch, I just heard. But it's a bitch in the way that if we ricochet back and forth from wounding, it doesn't serve anybody. Not really, not in those moments. It's so dense and it doesn't really allow for forward movement. It's not productive, not entirely. Everything is moving towards growth, but karmic back and forth like that is very entrenching, and it's a slow moving growth. The feminines are now able to see with their hearts that the two shall be left standing, and really that these connections are gaining traction. In this deck, it's like the battle was not even waged because it was not looked at as a battle, and there are 2 swords of truth. The feminines are you know, utilizing their inner masculine to protect this connection by protecting themselves, by going into alignment, going into their feminine, going into yin. That's not passivity. It's not acceptance of whatever the lower vibrational things are, but it is balance. So it's non-reactive, and it is a protection of sorts because it doesn't pretend to see you and ego identify your superficial actions as the core that you are, masculines. And this is how, by not engaging in those things and perpetuating karmic mayhem, your feminine is protecting the heart of this connection. They're protecting their heart and they're protecting your heart by not perpetuating emotional cycles that are of disintegration. Wow. What is the energetic card? Movement, opening, and unfolding. Spiral of life. So there's a heart opening here for the feminines and for you, masculines. This is divinely guided. So this is the gift, should you choose to accept it at this time, is that your feminine has had a heart opening offer. And it could have come through communication or will, as we saw in the cards. So masculines, whatever's transpired right now, your feminine offered you a kindness, a generosity that was truly heartfelt, and that is divinely guided. So it wasn't in judgment and it wasn't in a lower vibrational tone. It was truly divine. And in humility, we saw divinity, honor, responsibility, and humility. These connections are elevating to a sacred level, and this is how interactions are on that level. What can we see? You know, I'm hearing karmic interpretations of people who are in righteousness, and you know, some of the things that would be said from a judgmental point of view would be, who died and made you God, or aren't you just all that, or who makes you, or what makes you think that you're Miss Perfect, you know, all those kinds of things that rejection of this kind of gift could entail. I'm not getting that these masculines are of that frequency that would say that. However, we are outgrowing that kind of change back model in codependent relationships. And there is truly a joint tandem progress being made in these connections that is sacred. What can we see for advice for the feminines? Knight of Pentacles, keep working on it. Keep laying this consistent foundation, one brick at a time, one opportunity at a time. Gain traction. Keep expanding that heart space and seeing it as you and your masculine are in this together, working on debunking the karmic myths so that love prevails. Love is the only eternal. So as these kinks are worked out, these dysfunctions, these programs are worked out, love remains. And the emotion here is fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So don't be afraid that you're going to fail with this. Stay in your center, stay present, open your heart, and begin to live consistently as a way of life in the energy of love. So another message is that if you have had an instance where your masculine was exhibiting something fearful, triggered, it's all fear. It's either fear or love. So if we're in disintegration, it's fear. The root of all the lower vibrational things are fear. Anger, even passion has an element of fear because it has an agenda that's trying to prove itself. Neutrality is where we start to get up and above fear, and then into love, unconditional love, miracles, ascended mastery. But anything below neutrality is somewhat fear-based in varying degrees. And so as we come up out of that and we see fear being released and these programs of fear being seen for what they are, we are getting our love land legs on. What can we see for what the feminines are wanting to manifest. Page of Wands, more consistent connection to source in the face of adversity or just in everyday life. A consistent praying without ceasing, running through higher guidance through the heart at all times. Feminines are finding solace in this practice of oneness. I heard oneness with divine will, free will, divine will, as above, so below. This constant communication with source, filtering through the eyes of love. This is what the feminines are realizing is creating peace and equanimity. And hydrogen atom, consciousness beginning in faith. Yeah, it's like the feminines have left the material fear world and have plugged in direct main line to the divine with faith. There's a new beginning here. I'm seeing the hydrogen atom as the building blocks on a new dimension. Hydrogen is dominant in water, and I'm seeing that this is an emotional awakening. Now I'm seeing like a light mist, an energetic mist, and spring rain and rainbows. So there's something very pure about and now I'm seeing the words pasted on water with the water droplets frozen and the beautiful geometries they form. So there's something about the purity of intention and an open heart that translates into this purified emotional experience between the two. And feminines, you are a mirror for your masculine. So it is not just that you're doing this sacred work and gifting it to your masculine. Your masculine initiated you into this process of merging equally. It takes two. And so be grateful to your masculine that you get to see yourself at this level and mirroring with someone who can reciprocate at this level, because that is truly a blessing to all. And it emulates out from these unions more and more as they deepen. But this is a new level of purity. What can we see for the advice? 5 of Cups, Lord of Loss and Pleasure. So feminines, your emotions tell you when pleasure is lost. The cups are the emotional suit. And so whenever you feel your emotions dropping, there's a leak. There's a leak somewhere in the energy. And so your advice is to now be a keeper of that vessel that does not allow for your happiness to drain, for a leak in the connection in yourself. You are a mirror. You can measure the energy of the connection by the frequency of your emotions. And you can manage your side of the energy so as to not contribute to that leak in emotion. What can we see for the energy with it? Loneliness. I know that I'm never alone. So yeah, feminines, you're not in this together. You're not more advanced than your masculine. If you are resonating with these messages, you are a team with your masculine. If you've made it to this far, put "go team" in the comments below. What can we see for what the feminines are, action the feminines are taking? Wow, that just flipped. High Priestess. Feminines, you're coming more into the waking, lucid knowledge that you are effectively moving in the world with mercy and humility and compassion. You are embodying this. It did fall face down and it initially came out in the inverse, but it flipped. So feminines, it's a work in progress in real time. The Divine Feminine Collective is, embodying this more and more. So this is the action the feminines want to take, is to continue expanding the heart, continue coming into it. Even if you don't see yourself as such, just know that if you're resonating in the vicinity of this message, you are on that track. And continue saying yes to it if that sounds like good fun to you. Energy, Galactic Council Crest. I actually was hearing the word galactic when I began shuffling today. spiritual sovereignty, astral travel, and timelessness. So this is one of the high frequencies I'm hearing that untethers from linear space and time. So as we ascend, we will eventually become non-physical. We will eventually vibrate fast enough not to be coalesced in physical form any longer. And spiritual sovereignty is a way to unhook from the binding of the illusion of limitation. And that translates emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically. And it all changes. We think that the physical realm is independent from the energetic realm, and that's not true. That is why we can levitate, teleport, go invisible, why there are anomalous things. When we vibrate at a high enough frequency, we defy the laws of physics. And so you going into this compassion is the beginning of becoming timeless, being able to astral travel, and your spiritual sovereignty, your accountability between you and source, and that faith is what allows you to untether from everything, even gravity, even space and time. Feminines, masculines, listen up. This is a very important message because this is true. What is the advice? The sun, enlightenment, Lord of the fire of the world. The advice is, feminines, you are on a conscious enlightenment journey, an ascension journey, and so many things are going to be revealed to you through the lens of compassion. You do not have the kingdom, the keys of heaven. Pardon me. Interesting usage, the kingdom came through, because we are talking about the divine feminines and equanimity coming in, and that word kingdom just fell from this channeling and wants to be said as heaven. So no longer purely kingdom. Feminines, you are emerging into equanimity as you reclaim this high priestess energy on the planet. I remember channeling in 2020, and I saw the emperor sending out the chariot for the empress, and the human, the physical feminine, was placed as a seat of equanimity on the planet. And I believe we just had the energetic equanimity come in here. How interesting. So feminines, actually there are two on this card dancing in the sun equally. Spiritual sovereignty, feminines, when you let go of being defined by a hierarchical male concept where the masculine, external masculine dominates you in a hierarchical template, you come into true celebration and joy. And it's a dance then. It's a dance. So there's some new perspective coming in through your compassion, feminines, that you see. In this reading, the feminine essentially trumps the masculine in their acting out. The King of Swords in the inverse. This is the masculine gone awry. This is the logical mind, the overprotection, the perfectionism, the overly cautious. And then feminines, when your heart brings in the compassion that sees through that and loves unconditionally in a way that subdues the masculine. And so you can't have one without the other. The yin yang is a spinning diagram that places each in turn and tethers each in the heart to the other. And so we have to outgrow this idea that the masculine is superior, dominant, in charge. It's not that way. When we have discernment, the masculine becomes wise in the action, but it's not to be looked at as a control. And the feminine has equal empowerment to offer perspective, contribution in ways that the masculine does not operate. And so there has to be a shift in those polarities towards equanimity and teamwork. So this is being seen by the feminines right now. And purpose, I know what I'm here to do. So there is great soul mission and purpose, galactic council crest there for these teams of counterparts that are bringing equanimity in, truly bringing it in. This is life purpose. This is changing the planet. What can we see for the biggest challenge that the feminines are facing? Six of Wands. This is the masculine coming in from the karmic battle and promising marriage, partnership. So the challenge is that the feminines want the masculines to uphold this process of choosing them, but they also want to hold their own and recognize that they have every right to choose their masculine. And I'm hearing literally by consistency. You can't shake your feminine off your trail, masculine, no matter what you do. They are yours. They are made for you. They are intimately, intricately connected to you. And so the challenge is that they do want you to take the action, speaketh the wording, loveth them. But they also would like that to be when they want it too. They don't want it just to be on your terms anymore. Your feminine is including their masculine aspect that says, hey, I got rights too, masculine. How about now? I'm in the mood. Yeah? And for you to show up wholeheartedly at those times, masculine. But the challenge is not to have reaction when you don't, and to know that it's a tandem effort. This is the challenge. What is the advice for the challenge? Knight of Wands, Lord of Flame and Lightning. This is the passion. So feminines, let the slow burn, because it will be when it will be. When both drop all resistance and trust and come into love, it will be worth the wait, feminines. So the advice is like, get on your horse and ride, but just bring some water along because you might get thirsty before you get there. Oh boy. What can we see for the emotion? Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So it's not full-blown adversity. It's a little bit like that slow burn energy. So stay with the process. Don't throw in the towel before it's time. But this is the challenge. It's like the feminines can feel this developmental tension, and yet they have never been in more self-mastery, peace, compassion, good on their own. Oh, the irony. What can we see for the solution to this? Okay, this is saying that the root of it might be a little bit of an abandonment fear still. So please look at any last remaining fears of abandonment and don't fall into thinking any kind of lower vibrational assessments of your connection, feminines. If you find yourself even thinking, oh yeah, my masculine probably actually doesn't love me, this is probably all in my head, really, it might be abandonment wounds. Your heart knows if you're creating and fabricating a story, or if you're just having a wobble because of some kind of stress in your life, or needing to redirect and focus on self for a while. Pay attention. You know, sometimes our sensory system gets wires crossed and we think something is one way when it's not. So really make sure you're not projecting certain things and still maintain your impeccable balance, feminines. And we get Temple of Amethystia, tranquility, patience, disillusion. So I'm getting really that there are still some things, karmically speaking, that are on their way out. And feminines, if you really scan your heart for what those are in your scenario, you will know that you need to have patience and just let the process work through you, work through the layers of you, sift you. But this is saying rest. Take some time to step back, appreciate, decompress, allow. If you start getting a little bit amped up because you're feeling the potentials, let it be there and let it fuel the karma cleanup. Let it fuel health. Let it fuel loving yourself. Let it delight you. Turn it in on yourself and fill up your tank with it. What is the advice? Fortitude, overcome the devil energies. So don't buy into any of these self-sabotage or misconceptions. If you are seeing any of these last remaining nattery energies coming up, bonking on the head, hiya. Don't do it. Just don't go there. Let it go. Let those fear-based assessments go. Trust. Let it go and trust instead. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So your innermost voice is your heart. The mind is the swords. The mind is this fickle thing that tries to prevent heartache, possibly. But drop in deeper and trust. Trust yourself. Trust your manifestation. Trust the divine plan. Trust the process. Trust the journey. Trust that you won't put yourself into anything that isn't good for you. What can we see for the near future? Empress. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Empress in the upright. Heck yeah, feminines. What can we see energetically? Cosmic calibrator. So you are attuning to the galactic. Universal attunement, repatterning, and guidance. Go higher in all things. Ask feminines. What is the advice? Oh, we got 2. 7 of Wands, bravery, Lord of Valor, and Queen of Pentacles. Queen of the Thrones of Earth. So you're no longer just simply a queen of the throne of Earth. You're an empress. You're a high priestess. You're cosmic. You have transcended. Bravely see yourself as having outgrown the worldly templates. And you know, it's unnerving when we're in the face of change, as we're up leveling out of simply the mundane and going up into cosmic and love and living there. We do shed the limitations of the world and we step into greater abundance and freedom. I'm seeing temperance. I'm not going to pull it, but okay, envy. I'm the same as everybody with different challenges. So you're not better than anyone else. You're not worse off, but you are accountable to yourself and your perception. Your free will is all yours. And that is on what frequency level you want to perceive what's happening through you, to you, around you, come what may. That's you. That's on you. You can't outlove God and you can't out-weird me. So go for it. Go for it, everybody. Okay, much love. Bye for now.